Okay, so once you have your worksheet, you have your name, your class code, period.iPad number. Don't worry about the score. You need to decide if you want to do a pigment or a spectral color scheme. I'm going to start off by demonstrating a pigment color scheme. So, with my pigment color scheme, the first thing I want to do is I want to put out my 3 primary colors. My magenta, cyan, and yellow. So I have my cup of water, I have my palette ready. It's all cleaned off and ready for mixing. I'm going to start with magenta. And it doesn't matter where you put your 3 primary colors as long as they're the correct spaces from each other. So I'm going to start off with magenta. I'm going to put it here, but you could put it anywhere. It doesn't really matter. I'm very carefully outlining it first and then filling it in so that my lines are nice and neat. Now, for the sake of this, I'm not going to color in the whole thing because that would take forever, but you're going to get the idea of where I'm placing my colors. If it starts to not work as cleanly, if it starts to be a little bit scratchy looking, I'm going to add more water. Now, these primary colors, I'm not mixing anything. I want my colors to be very pure and clean. So I have my first slice, my magenta, and now I'm going to add my cyan because magenta, cyan, and yellow are my 3 pigment primary colors. Now, I need to leave 3 blank spaces in between for my secondary color and my 2 tertiary colors. So I'm going to do yellow next. Do a nice hula, really loosen up the paint. 1, 2, 3 blanks, and then I'm going to place my yellow. I'm just going to put a dot here just so we know where it's going as a placeholder. When you're really painting yours, you would be coloring in the whole thing. And then I'm going to place my cyan. 1, 2, 3 blanks, and I'm putting my cyan down in the next one. I need a little bit more water on this. Okay, so I have my 3 primary colors. Think of your primary colors as 1. Remember, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add my secondary colors. I'm going to choose a section and I'm going to fill in all the colors in that section before moving on to my next section. So I'm going to do my purples. I'm going to do magenta plus cyan. Oops, got a little on my paint. Magenta plus cyan equals purple. So on my palette, I'm going to put down a little cyan. And I'm going to put down a little magenta. Now when I combine them, I want my purple to be even parts magenta and cyan. 1 drop of cyan, 1 drop of magenta. I want it to be very, very even. So I'm going to check my color, see if that's pretty in the middle. 1 drop cyan, 1 drop magenta. Until I get a color that looks like it's in the middle. And then I'm going to place that right in the middle. Again, I'm just doing a little mark. You would be coloring in the whole thing. Now, I want to fill in the spaces on either side. This one, because this is 1 drop of magenta, 1 drop of cyan, this one's going to be 2 drops of magenta and 1 drop of cyan because it's close to magenta. So I'm going to take this purple that I had, I'm going to add a little bit more magenta to it. Now there are 2 drops of magenta in here, 1 drop of cyan. I'm going to place it closer to my magenta. Then I need to do this one, which has 2 drops of cyan, 1 drop of magenta. So I'm going to add almost all of my cyan in here. And I get this nice, like, periwinkle blue color. It's really pretty. And that's where I'm putting that one. Then I'm going to fill in the rest of these. Again, 1 drop of magenta, 1 drop of yellow. 2 drops of magenta, 1 drop of yellow, 1 drop of magenta, 2 drops of yellow, 1 drop of blue, 1 drop of green, or 1 drop of blue, 1 drop of yellow, 1 drop of blue, 2 drops of yellow, 2 drops of blue, or cyan rather, my apologies, 2 drops of cyan, 1 drop of yellow. When you are finished, you will have a color wheel that is completely filled out, a pigment color wheel that looks something like this, with all of your colors very evenly painted in the lines, not blending into each other, and that is what we are doing today. Have fun.
Bye.